So at one point, your plan is to become an English teacher, which I imagine your English teacher heart must be absolutely delighted that you're here talking about your second book.
Mhm.
That's. I assume. Did you always dream of writing a book? Was that somewhere in there?
I was always into poetry, so that was kind of what I was mostly into. And, you know, I feel like it's funny because I feel like a little sad that I'm not an English teacher, because that was really my dream. But I am very fortunate to have an opportunity to live vicariously through my children. My son is a special ed English language teacher in high school here in New York City. And he is beloved by his students, and he is working with predominantly young people of color, mostly Black and Latino students in New York, where some of them have different levels of, kind of issues. Some of them are behavioral issues, others are related to mental health issues, others are related to diagnoses like ADHD and other types of attention deficit disorders. And that was my dream. I wanted to teach young people who often our society says, these kids aren't going anywhere. It's a waste of time to even try to teach these kids anything. And I believe that those young people, if given the opportunity, if given care, given love, given things that are interesting, that they could actually flourish in this world. And my son has the same philosophy as me. And so he specifically studied to be a special ed teacher, which a lot of people don't want to be in New York City. And my son, was like, I want to be the thing that nobody else wants to do. And he's having a wonderful time. And so I'm excited to be able to hear the stories of his students and watch him build curriculum that is infused with hip hop and infused with kind of brands and things that he knows those young people will understand, to kind of bring them into larger conversations around literature, around even seeing music as a means of storytelling. Lots of these young people love music, and especially hip hop. And my son has realized that oftentimes hip hop is about storytelling. So he's taking them back to the days of, Tupac and Run DMC and Biggie Smalls, because he believes that old hip hop is really was a storytelling mechanism for young Black men to tell the stories of what it meant to grow up Black and grow up poor in places like New York and Philly and Detroit. And that concept is resonating with his students, because a lot of them have experienced the same type of environment, same type of living, and the school has noticed this change in a lot of these young people. This I want to be in class mentality, which was not in fact the case prior to my son taking over this particular class. So yeah, I'm not an English teacher, but at least my son is. And it makes me feel happy to know that he kind of said, listen, maybe you didn't fulfill your dream, but I got you. I'm gonna go on over here and do it. And he's having a wonderful time.
Was amused because I read and I heard you talk elsewhere about wanting to be Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds. So
that was the movie that inspired me.
It's been too long since I'd heard that song, and that's literally the plot of the movie, right? She goes in and she's teaching, I think, Bob Dylan lyrics, and he's teaching Biggie and hip hop. But there you are.
That's right. Well, listen, I told you. I said, my son said, "Don't worry, Mom, I got this," and so I feel happy to live vicariously through my son.